This is Dino Dragon Game, so you're wondering where are we at? This is a different sort of game than the video we are used to. Where are we? We see here we are actually in the Unreal Engine editor. And I am deciding to make video games because why not? Because I think it's going to be cool and fun. Uh, that's just something I wanted to do ever since uh, a few years ago, and of course I always loved video games, so let's make a video game. Alright, so we got here my first video game I'm making that's not based on a course or example, sort of my own design, although that concept is nothing new. So let's go hit play, and so what I made. So what we have here is a cube that explodes when I touch one of these enemies. Like that, like the spike, and the spike balls. I control the player with the W and D keys, or I control it with the arrow keys. And so far, that's what I got so far, and the cube explodes. So now I'm going to show you how I actually got the cube to explode, and how it got so far with the spike or the spike balls. So let's go into my other stuff, and we'll bring up the blueprints, and we're going to grab pawns, and we'll look at the player. So this actually trick. This is how I get to explode. So right here, which begin with the event tick. The blueprints start with events and there's some action. So what we got is the event tick. So every time the computer updates, it fires the execute pin to the add relative location. So it's changing the location. So this is what's used to move the ball, the cube rather. And here's the player body, which is the target, which is the cube that you control, and here's the variable, which is a float variable, which is the variable that controls the movement speed. That's what I call it. And I multiply tick with that, and I plug into the x axis to move it forward. That's so simple enough. And also, so we'll look at the rest of the stuff later, but and also this is the we're gonna look at the rest of the stuff, but we're gonna take a look at the things like the spike ball, which is the first enemy. So part of my ramblings, but we're gonna take a look at it. We're going to open up the editor, and what we got here is two things. We got the event tick, and there's a delay. And right now this delay is at 2 seconds, and it's going to going for a macro, and then it adds inputs upwards, and it's the force of the macro. So we can take a look at this, and it has a it's going to the event, and we have like a random number between 1 and 2, which is a 50-50% chance, and if it's equal to a number, which is this integer here, and that number right now is 1. So if it's equal to 1, then if that's true, then it will go for the output, which is the add impulse. So if the number is 1, it will add impulse every 2 seconds, like, and also every 2 seconds. And use the force of jump. Alright, sounds simple enough. And over here is how the damage. So we have several components. We have the spear, and we got several cones to make up the various spikes. And these spikes have no collision whatsoever. And there's a sphere around, which is a kind of a collider, which uses the collider to attack if it's the ball. So that's the component on when it's over on component begin overlap. So if the cube, which is the player pawn, which is the player, so and if that is equals to that, then if that's true, then it applies damage. And it applies damage on the player pawn. In fact, we can make it slightly more simpler by simply taking in and doing that. That's a little bit more simpler. Alright. And now we're going to compile that. And we're going back to the player pawn. So the player receives damage on a event any damage. It goes for a long string of stuff. But this is all necessary because what it's actually doing is hiding the key of the player body. It actually hides it, and then also sets actor's gravity to false. And there's also this disable input, so you can't control left and right with the arrow keys. It also sets the forward speed to 0. There's also this also disables the collision, and that's disable gravity. And also, what it does now is to spawn an actor of class. And what it's doing, I spawned a different cube that is destructible, and I will show the destructible cube in a minute. But now we got we spawned at the actor's location and also the rotation, and we spawned it there, and then we just simply add a force to kind of push it. And then we also reset the level, so we start the camera fade to fade in the camera, and we also then reset the level. And up here is when it to begin play, it fades into. So this how this works is we got from alpha to alpha. So from alpha is but the beginning of something. It's how transparent or opaque something is. So it starts from right now. It starts out from completely black, and then it fades into to clear, so you can see it, and that's of a duration about a certain time, and that's the beginning of and that's how that works. And so far, that's how it works. And we have a similar, and this is how it does damage, deals with damage, and this is how it resets the level. And this is all within the player blueprint. And this is how it works. And for the player, we got the player's body, which is this cube here, and we got the suspended on a spring arm, which is kind of the thing linking this camera to the thing. It's facing towards the back, and it's kind of stuck there. And now, if you look at the last component of the thing, we got one thing. We got the destructible cube. Oh, wait, that's the game mode. My bad. Here we go. Here's the exploding cube. So this is how the exploding cube works. This is separate from the player's body. I actually spawned this upon it taking damage when it just disappeared and all the collision and gravity cease. And this spawns then on begin play. It spawns it also simulates physics, and what we got is a destructible cube. That's the exact same color as the player's body, natural player's body. And we just spawn it detached particle, which is the explosion, and that's how that works. It's even crazy simpler, and yeah, and that's what it does. And so therefore, when I actually hit the obstacle, it actually explodes spectacularly. That's how I simulate that. So it's a bit of a trick, see? And that's how that works. So yes, any questions or comments on what how you think about this game? And if you like this video, subscribe. please subscribe, and if you, because most of you that ever watch my videos are not subscribed, so please subscribe and give a like and tell me what you think, and please comment if you like the video, like it, or dislike it, dislike it. I just want yours guys to know I am still learning, and I actually am no wise a expert in making games, nor am I a super expert in the Unreal Engine specifically. So like and subscribe, and I will see ya next time. Bye!